Hello, this is Austin from the Lukewarm Cinema Podcast, and you're listening to the BS Podcast Network.
Hey man, it's me, Kevin Smith, and I would not be the filmmaker I am today. Barely respected with no hits to my name, were it not for the wonderful world of Disney. We all love Disney, man. Whether it's the movies, the parks, the Marvel movies, what have you, man. Disney is in our DNA. And you know whose DNA it's really in? The Magic Our Way podcast with Kevin, Danny, Eli, and Lee. You want to go Disney hard? Never Disney soft. That's the show for you. Magic Our Way podcast, ladies and gentlemen. It's all the Disney. You looking for a little D or the big D? Magic Our Way's got it for you.
Jumbo, everyone.
Harambe.
And welcome to another edition of
The Magic Our Way.
Magic Our Way.
Magic Our Way.
Magic Our Way.
The Magic Our Way podcast.
They are truly magical and whatnot.
Asante Sana, everyone. You're listening to the Magic Our Way podcast from New Orleans, Louisiana, in the United States of America. We are artistic buffs talking about Disney stuff, and this is the show in which every opinion is welcome. MagicOurWay.com is where you can find us. Today we present a review of Luca, the latest Disney Plus movie release. And look, guys, this isn't your typical polished, practiced, pixie dust and Disney podcast. We are not in the parks every day trying to tell you the top 12 places to get a macadamia nut cookie.
That's right, Kev. We're just here to do three things. Talk Disney, drink, and entertain y'all. And fair warning, some people on iTunes don't find us all that entertaining for some reason.
Yeah, well, sorry about their damn luck.
Well, my name is Kevin.
And I'm Danny.
And I'm your main Marvel man, Eli.
And usually we have our official travel agent, Lee, on the show, but he's currently on assignment, so we'll have him next time. So guys, enough of our jibber jabber. Let's go discuss some Luca fish smelling magic. Weekends, welcome to the Q, and this is the segment in which we get to discuss all the news and happenings in the world of Disney today. So let's get to it, man. Fireworks return to Walt Disney World. Statewide, Disney parks are moving to return back to regular operation by easing off their COVID restrictions. With this comes the announcement recently about the return of fireworks shows to the parks. Here is what we know. On July 1st, Happily Ever After in the Magic Kingdom and Epcot Forever in Epcot will once again light up the night sky at the Walt Disney World Resort. On July 4th, Mickey's Mix Magic will return to Disneyland at the Disneyland Resort. These are the only shows announced to be returning to the parks as of right now. We're recording this show on June 19th, 2021. And as you notice, this excludes the Star Wars themed show that took place over at Hollywood Studios. So there you go, guys.
As well as Fantasmic and yeah.
Oh yeah, and Fantasmic and all those other things. What do you guys think about this?
I'm glad to hear the fireworks are returning. If I'm being honest, I don't know that this affects me personally all that much. I will usually once a trip catch a fireworks performance, and most of the time when I'm doing it, it's at California Grill and their koozies. Even before COVID, I was never big on piling into Main Street or piling into the hub and standing shoulder to shoulder with the masses and enjoying the fireworks. That to me was always a time to, everyone's gathering to watch fireworks. Go catch this, go catch that. And if I caught the fireworks, I caught them from afar.
So you're never one for crowds?
Yes, I've never been one for crowds. But having said that, a Disney vacation is pretty much synonymous with fireworks. So having them back just symbolizes more of a return to the normal. So I'm glad to see them back. I'm happy that this is happening because I know this is a staple of a lot of families' vacations to Disney. So that's how I feel about it. I'm glad to see it's back. I will catch a show or two. It's just I don't think it's going to affect me all that much because I generally enjoyed it from a resort having dinner.
From afar, it sounds
like. From afar.
And yeah, I'm very excited about this too, and I'm glad to see this because it's a step in the right direction towards, I guess, pre-COVID normalcy, even though the new normalcy is going to be somewhat different. But I'm glad to see that they're feeling comfortable enough with the restrictions being lifted that they can do this. So that's very exciting, and it gives those people that are traveling down there over the summer something in the evenings to do. Every time you watch those fireworks, there's always something a little bit magical, just exciting to end your day with all that, all the booms, all the lights. The way they do their fireworks shows are always incredible, you know. All right, Eli, what do you think, sir?
You know what? I think I agree with you guys in the fact this is awesome. It's a good signal that things could go back to normal. But if you go on a vacation, you should enjoy yourself. And nothing says enjoyability like fireworks. At the same time, on the other end of the revolving door, I'm kind of worried about that part where there's still like 1 million people standing around me. And I am vaccinated, for the record. I am vaccinated. But
Yeah?
Oh, did you put that in your Mouse Bingo profile?
not yet, but I need to add that.
Oh, you probably should.
I want to. I am vaccinated and safe. Always safe.
Vaccinated and safe.
Sexy and vaccinated.
Yes, it.
Oh, that's two S's that you want to have in there.
Sexinated.
Sexinated. I like that.
Totally sexinated.
There it is. And so I think like that's the one part of it that kind of worries me slightly. But that's just me trying to work on my outfits. But as far as the company in general, yeah, I mean, it's a party. If you're able to go on a vacation during this time and you're brave enough, you should enjoy the fireworks. Just if I was there, I wouldn't want nobody breathing on me unless, she was really cute. That's all I'm saying on that.
Oh, you like the breathing and stuff?
Now, I'm not a big fan of breathing with COVID. I'm just still paranoid about it. Like, COVID is like the sequel that hasn't been developed yet. You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody's like, oh, we beat it and everything, and we got to go back to normal. But I totally get that. Totally get the fact that we've been in fear for a whole year. We can't live like that.
No.
And we need that escape. But at the same time, like, I'm sorry, COVID's a punk-ass way to go. Like, so...
COVID's a zombie.
It is.
Whoa. Calm down over there.
Sorry.
It's not a punk-ass way to go.
In other words,
It sucks, is what,
Yeah,
it's
it sucks.
what you meant to say.
You really said, right.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like if you're enjoying something and then somebody else standing by you, and then like from this freak accident that this happens, something happens to you, and then like it's over. Like I think that's a terrible way to do it. So that's why my guard would always be up. So I that's just me. So I'm with it as a product, just socially.
So if you travel down there, you'd be optimistically cautious in entering that crowd for the fireworks?
I'm kind of, but like, you know what? Yeah, in general, whenever before this, pre-COVID, to be honest, I mean, like you said, like, I'm like Danny. I would, if I was at a restaurant, like we've gone to California, we've been to Florida, and like, boom, fireworks, like, oh, check that out. There's only like 6 people. And that's even before this. Like, oh, yeah, that's cool. Because sometimes you just want to enjoy something for yourself. And you like, it's not a bad thing if you have, like, say, under 10 people there. They're like, oh, yeah, that was cool. You liked it? Yeah, it was cool. But when you have, like, say, 2,000 people in your general area, even past COVID, it's like, dang, dude, you, like, yelling. Like, I want to hear what they're singing, and I want to see this and that. So in some cases, depending on who you have in the crowd, it can alter your experience. And, so imagine someone coughing on you when it's all happening. Yeah.
Look, I was in line at the Hallmark store today, and a woman sneezed and wasn't wearing a mask. And I was like,
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, oh, come on. But at the same time, you're right. I mean, at some point, once you're vaccinated, you need to embrace the return to normal. So I am good with that aspect of things. Having said that, like I said, there's a difference between being online at the grocery store and being huddled in a mass of humanity in front of the castle.
Packed around you.
So I'm probably going to be a lot more careful. I really, to be honest with you, I really kind of thought that we would have gotten more of I thought we would have gotten character meet and greets before we would have gotten this.
That's a fair point. I mean,
here it is, and look, I'm grateful for it, and again, there's nobody who doesn't feel comfortable with this that needs to be there for it. It's just for those who are okay with it, right?
I would spend an extra $2,500 if I could get one of those like Rick Suero presidential suites to see if
Rick Suero presidential suites.
I would like
okay.
to get that. I mean, don't get me wrong. I am not a wealthy
There's like
man.
dessert fireworks party.
Oh, so you can watch it isolated and spacious.
Yeah, I mean, like but I mean, look,
I agree.
You had a pimped out area like that was
I mean, if I had a
really
choice,
well.
I would definitely go for that.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Like, if I'm gonna at this point, if I'm gonna take out a loan to say, hey, look, I'm gonna go back and do this thing. You know what? If it's gonna put me in the hole for an extra 2 years to enjoy this firework on this level, based upon all the past events that has happened, I'm gonna take that. I'm gonna take that.
What does this? So, if you would have bought tickets to the Boo Bash, would this upset you, knowing that okay, now you've greenlit fireworks, but there's no? I'm paying pretty close to not so scary prices, if not right at about. I'd have to look at what the latest price
To be in a realistically scary event.
Well, I mean, it's just you're paying kind of the exact same price that you were paying before, not too far off, to experience not so scary without fireworks, without a parade. What's the difference between huddled together on Main Street to watch a parade and watching fireworks? What's the difference between huddled together to get a character's autograph in a picture and fireworks?
Movement.
Exodus, movement of the people.
So yeah, somebody's leaving, somebody's going. If there's a fight, you know how it works. Come on, we've been to Disney plenty of times. Sure. You walk somewhere like, da-da-da-da, here comes such and such show, and then like everybody stops. Everybody's walking to
Hammer time.
Yeah, right. Everybody's walking to get hot dogs and stuff, and then they're like boom, 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 and then people are like oh, and then like everybody's stopping now. They're like, so whatever you were doing, it's now being complicated like 1,000 times more, Whereas if you're just in the normal, hey, look, here's the music, here's things going, people are still going in and out of traffic. It would be as if you were on a subway, like a subway station, and then one day they were like, hey, look, the guy that like plays the guitar for like 25 cents, he's gonna like play the guitar in his head, and then like the whole subway stops, and then you gotta like watch his concert until his concert's over, and then everything starts moving again. That's that'd be my lure with that. With that, you know what I'm saying?
Well, let's bring it closer to home. It's like if they would have Mardi Gras parades and we had the crowds, would you feel comfortable doing that?
I'm not really a big fan of crowds during Mardi Gras. Anyway.
Yeah, I would not go to Mardi Gras because of crowds as well.
Yeah,
that's why we like if we went to parades, we would stand back. Like we like to go to those lesser crowded parades and enjoy that. But like Mardi Gras Day, we would show up way late, stand way in the back, and the kids would be fine with things within 10 to 15. We're just not the whole, it's like
just super crowded thing.
Yeah.
Well,
now you got people peeing COVID on you instead of breathing it on you.
Wait, what?
You got people peeing COVID on you.
You talking about like golden showers kind of aspect? Is that what? That's kind of
peeing COVID. What?
That was
I didn't know you could do that.
That was a joke. That's just
Me
a joke.
either.
That was a joke.
Science. No, it's, maybe not. I'm sorry.
That's a joke.
Don't spread no more fear, man.
All right. I'm sorry. But it's a legitimate fear. You don't know.
Like peanut butter.
You don't know.
Could be.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm not even in Mardi Gras, I would watch the parade from the comfort of my own home, but I have no stake in that game. I didn't pay to go to Mardi Gras. I didn't pay to go to that hotel. Now that person that paid, say, $5,000 to stay in Bourbon Street and then see all the craziness and all the fun and all the debauchery, let them have that. Let them have what they want as long as they know what they signed up for. And I'm totally cool with that. Yeah. Totally cool with that. Yeah, but as far as this vacation here, and I'm going to Disney, like that's the same thing. I know what I'm going to deal with. So this is just more sporadic. Like if someone goes to Mardi Gras, they know from this day to that day, chaos is going to ensue. Now what was the thing of the bash, Boo Bash? Right?
You're burdened with chaotic purpose.
Right. If you know if you know the date that things are gonna happen and you're like, I don't want people on me and breathing on me, all that. Well then look, these are isolated days. Be aware of that. It's at your risk.
No, I can see that. I totally do. It's just too chaotic, too many people bumping into you, too many people knocking you down, too much. Crowds can breed stupidity. And so like from that
especially if they're drunk.
Yes. Now, granted, in Magic Kingdom, that's not something you have to worry about. But I always loved I think that's why Illuminations was always my favorite shows, because you can gather around the lagoon without being shoulder to shoulder with other people.
Nice.
I mean, that lagoon was pretty broad and everyone got a good view. And yeah, I just don't get the same thing with being.
Pop
I don't
up
need
on top of people.
Yeah, I
can
just
see
don't
that.
need that. But at the same time, I like that it's back because
It needs to be back.
it does need to be back. It really does need to come back. And the people who want to be in the front lines and enjoy it, God bless them.
Wishes.
Wishes. Well, guys, look, let us know what you think about this. Make sure you leave a comment and subscribe to our podcast and share your opinions. We do definitely get back to you if you leave a comment and just have that discussion with you guys, because we always love hearing from our listeners. So enjoy. We are reviewing Luca, the Disney Pixar summer movie offering, which was released in the United States on June 18, 2021. And just to give you guys a little synopsis of what's going on in this is straight from the Walt Disney Company. And they say, set in a beautiful seaside town on the Italian Riviera, Disney and Pixar's original feature film, Luca, is a coming-of-age story about one young boy experiencing an unforgettable summer filled with gelato, pasta, and endless scooter rides. Luca, voice of Jacob Tremblay, shares these adventures with his newfound best friend Alberto, voice of Jack Dylan Grazer. But all the fun is threatened by a deeply held secret. They are sea monsters from another world just below the water's surface. Luca is directed by Academy Award nominee Enrico Casarosa, who also did La Luna.
That's my cousin.
Yes, and produced by Andrea Warren, who also did Lava and Cars 3. There you go. So, Les, before we jump into the details, how about we do a quick around the room and see whether or not you like this movie and the reasons for your opinion. Okay, who'd like to start? Who's got an opinion that they feel strongly about?
I'll go.
Okay.
Why
Danny.
not? Because there's only 3 of us here, and there's only 2 of us to answer. So I'll start, because usually we let the Marvel Guru go first when we talk Marvel stuff, right?
Yeah, this is true.
So you'll have your turn next time with
Loki 3.
which is Luca, but just with 2 letters different.
Yeah, there's a lot of 4-letter L words.
Yeah,
That's it.
I find.
That's it.
And look, make sure you go back and check out our review of the episodes 1 and 2 if you're interested in a little insight on all that kind of stuff. They're
Please
very,
do.
very entertaining back
Please.
here on YouTube.
Like and subscribe.
So, Danny, take it away, sir.
All right. So I enjoyed it. I liked it. I just didn't love it.
Oh, yeah, we're bringing that. I like that.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's
do like
not
that.
a world that I was intrigued by. I didn't feel compelled to explore it further. It wasn't so deep that I felt the need to rewatch it to see anything that I may have missed or went over my head. I'm not looking to necessarily revisit this again in a sequel. And unless they're really desperate for something to put in Epcot, I highly doubt you're going to see this as an attraction. But while it's not a masterpiece, it's not a blockbuster, it's kind of small in terms of a movie, it's a nice little pleasant, charming, cute, if you will. It's a cute little movie.
It's a cute, yeah.
Yeah, it's a very cute the movie. Yeah, no, I enjoyed it. I don't think it's going to be in anybody's top 10 list of the best Pixar movies ever, but I do believe that it was a cute little movie that really appealed to younger children. And so from that aspect, I enjoyed it, but I kind of feel like I'm kind of one and done, where I'm like, okay, I enjoyed it for what it was, but I have now completely unplugged from that world, mainly because there's not a whole lot left to
Plug
explore
into,
in that
yeah,
world.
yeah.
Yeah, there you go. So that's my opinion.
Oh, absolutely. No, I think that's a great opinion, and I'm going to agree the exact same thing. You know, I didn't love it. I did like it. I did enjoy it. I happened to watch it multiple times. The first time, I will admit, I kind of fell asleep toward the beginning there. And we'll talk about more details of why in just a little bit. But for me, it had like a very, cloudy with a chance of meatballs kind of movie feeling.
Yeah.
Especially in the animation and stuff like that. So
Sure, I can see that.
it was okay. It wasn't too bad. You know, I watched it the second time and really make sure I gave it a chance before I did this review. And it's good. It didn't hit me like Coco hit me.
Right.
Or those kind of movies that they've done, nothing like that. But it's entertainment. It's nice. It's a cute little summer drink. If it was an alcoholic drink,
It's a spritzer.
it's a spritzer. It's light. Maybe it's like a malt liquor, maybe like Claw. A White Claw
A
kind of
light
a-
mojito.
Yes, a light mojito.
Yeah,
yes,
mojito.
yes, to pull from another Romance language. But yeah, it's that's where I stand with it. Eli, what do you think, sir?
I gotta say, I can see where both of you coming from, because I couldn't hate it, but I could barely like it. and I just couldn't love it. And I think it's one of those things where there's so much mythos that they could have had it explained in here that they didn't do it. And so that kind of disappointed me and kind of took me out of it. The look of it was all right, but yeah, they had a cooler message. I thought towards the end, I thought it was cute as far as like how the characters and everything was laid out. I think there's some steps that they could have took to push it really further. Be like, hey, this is our movie. I just felt like this was a bunch of cats that were like Pixar interns, and they're like, we could make a movie and let it be set, in this area and let us like do our thing. And Pixar was like, yeah, why not? We'll just put our name to it and back you up or something. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
that's
I know what you mean.
I do. If you paid attention, you watch the credits all the way through to the end. There's a part in the credits where it says, dreamed up at Pixar Animation Studios in Emory, California.
Yes, and produced
in our slippers
yes.
around the Bay Area. So this is really the first movie that Pixar's put out where they're really acknowledging the limitations
that they've had,
of
yes.
COVID.
Past year, yeah, you're right.
It's almost like saying, kind of judge us on a curve here.
Yeah.
Because we had to produce this a little bit, spread it. What?
No, I was gonna say, but do you judge them on that curve?
Absolutely. Absolutely. 1,000%.
I don't know,
Given the
because
past year we've had, I'd say I'd give them that benefit.
It's working from home. I mean, it's working from home. It's working on a computer. You can type whatever you want. It'll say, hey, I think we could explore this and that. You can Zoom call. You know what I'm saying?
I've been working from home. I'm nowhere near as effective.
Really?
The communication. Yeah.
I'm effective as hell if I work from home.
Well, think about us when we did the shows remotely. It's like, are we more effective when we're together in the studio or versus when we're at home? Creatively.
Okay, creatively, in-house, we are juggernauts.
Yeah, we feed off of each other's energies, and it's freaking awesome.
And there's no doubt about that. But
can I tell you something? I'd kill for hearing that, like in the podcast review section of iTunes.
What?
When they record together, they are juggernauts. Oh, I would like to hear that.
So if you listen,
any listener out
or
there,
YouTube reviewers want to do, put that.
I'd review these guys, and I like these guys. I just have nothing to say. Put that, just throw that in there. When these guys are together, they're juggernauts.
Juggernauts.
Go ahead, Juggernaut.
Yeah, you got it, Juggernaut number 2.
Juggernaut 1 and Juggernaut 2.
Juggernaut 3.
All the Juggernauts. Trio Juggernauts. I think that's just the impression that I got from seeing this movie. It was just kind of like, it was almost like all it was good, but it had some elements of that, but it was like below that. You know what I'm saying? So,
well, but I mean, there again, I have to take exception to your idea that you're not going to give them any leniency
during COVID.
Yes,
it's he's just being cold.
Well, what you want? What you want to give them an extra point?
Well, I mean, you didn't. This isn't premium access. You didn't have to pay $30 for this. You didn't have to pay to see it in the theater. It was included for free with Disney Plus. This is just part of your subscription package. I mean,
you still
you know what? Along those lines, let me tell you this. I'll tell you what, Raya just came free, and I think my kids were more, and myself, enjoyed that movie more so than this one.
Yeah, I haven't seen it yet because it just became free. I saw it, and look, I'm big on dragons, but there was just nothing in the trailer that even it's like
that kind of hooked you in.
Just I'm willing to spend money. Just seduce me a little bit, but there was.
Yeah, I'd like some action too in this one.
You talking about Luca? You bring it back?
Luca. I mean, it doesn't have to be explosions. I'm a big fan of explosions. Doesn't have to have explosions, but
there wasn't much. Yes, you're right.
Well, look, Santa Mozzarella. I got an idea.
All right, pizza.
What if? Now, this just I didn't want to go off a tangent, but I'm just starting to think here. It's like, what if busy Pixar is going around World Showcase and giving each country an attraction, and this becomes Italian dark ride?
I thought the exact same thing. I'm like, they must be just doing this. They're like, okay, we're not saying we're going to greenlight your project, but if it's based upon an attraction in Epcot that doesn't have an existing ride system,
which Italy does not,
we might just go ahead and make your movie into a ride. Just saying, somebody wants to produce a German-based story, someone wants to produce an Italian-based story, we might run with that.
But look, would you waste a Tier 1 Fast Pass, if they bring back Fast Pass, on that attraction, based on Luca?
On a Luca attraction?
An Italian attraction based on Luca.
Not off of the story that they did.
Well, I mean, it depends on what that attraction was. I mean, what kind of attraction are we talking about here?
I'm sure it's going to be a dock ride. It's got to be a boat ride, dock ride.
It's a boat ride, dock ride.
I can't see it anything else. It can't be a roller coaster or something thrilling. Or a bike race. Maybe they do a bike race.
I like that.
Yeah, if you put like some certain elements of terror in it, then you got something. But that goes against what...
Well, I was going to say, who was terrifying you in that movie, Urkelly?
He is kind of a dick.
Yeah,
I enjoyed the hell.
He was funny.
Out of Urkelly.
He was kind of a dick.
Oh my god, that was one of my favorite villains.
I thought that was Sacha Baron Cohen, but it wasn't.
No. Sacha Baron Cohen
was Uncle Ugg.
There you go.
Yeah.
Now he scared me. He's
funny. He made me laugh.
I laughed too.
Like, yeah.
Punch him in the heart. That's the best line of the whole movie.
That is great.
That was Jim Gaffigan, by the way, another comedian who voiced the
dad.
The dad,
yeah. And the mom was Maya Rudolph.
Yeah,
which is correct. Well done. Very well done.
But I would say, dude, I completely enjoyed the villain in this movie. I thought it was appropriate to where, like...
It's a relatable villain, for sure.
It is, because, I mean, before we get into that, let's not get into that.
Let's get into the details.
Speaking of broad strokes...
We're still not spoiled. Still not spoiled.
That's right.
That's exactly right. So, what would y'all like to say? Because I don't know what to say anymore without spoiling it.
Well, should we go right into the spoilers then?
No, well, look, I can say this.
More? Okay.
I can say this.
Okay.
I'll say this.
Do you want to answer his question about the ride, or do we answer that?
Oh, about the dog. If this was a ride in Italy, if it would be enough.
Yeah.
If there's a ride in any Disney pavilion,
yeah.
Try like anything, I'm going to try it at least once. And so if they do a good job knocking it out of the park, I will. Do I think this just readily lends itself to a Disney attraction? No.
No, I like that. Yeah.
But yeah, okay. But I would say another thing that I did like about this movie, and again, and I've said my caveats that this is not a great movie. Mm-hmm. This is not. I have a hard time believing even the most gracious cynic would put this in their top 10. But what I liked about it was it's not like Soul. It's not like Inside Out. There's not these heavier metaphysical concepts that you have to wrap your head around. This is something a younger kid can just watch and really enjoy. Yeah. And it really touches on what is the main theme and the main fear of any young child's life, which is bullying. And that feeling of being awkward and overcoming your fears and having somebody taunting you along the way. I felt...
And being different.
Yeah, that's what I got out of it, was being different.
That's a better way to put it.
Yeah.
Yes, perfect. That is where this movie scored high marks, home run marks, if you will. And movies like this are necessary for younger kids who can't stand all these flighter or higher concepts. So from that point, Luca was a complete success for me.
I agree with that. I think that's an excellent point.
And I'll skewer it for the next 20 minutes.
Yes.
I'm just saying, from that standpoint, and don't get me wrong, I tried to get my kid to watch it with me.
I thought you could. Yeah, I thought she would have watched that.
What didn't have any
interest.
Really? No interest.
I figure that's definitely a movie you watch with your kid.
I tell you, we all
it would be, but you know what? Not a boy.
Oh, wow.
You know, if there was a lot more Julia trailer and a lot less Alberto and Luca, maybe she would have been more like, yeah, I want to see that. But to her, it was just a little boy movie.
Interesting, yeah.
And I didn't know it because I hadn't seen it at that point. So there you go.
And they're really not that many boy movies, so to speak.
No, Coco. That's it.
Yeah. So
and we'll talk about that in a second, because I do have a couple little gripes about that in this movie. But yeah, my 3 daughters watched it. The first time we watched it, they were able to stay awake with it. The second time when I watched it, they weren't as paying attention as they were last night when they first gave it a shot. So
they kind of, even as children, they felt like they got
all they needed after the first viewing.
There you go.
That's all they needed.
Makes sense.
Perfect.
So that works. So is it time to go to the spoiler?
I think it's time to go to the spoiler. I mean, I don't know if there's any non-spoiler.
Yeah, no, get to the juice of it.
All right, guys, look. So now that we have done that, and let's dive into the details. But first, I must give you a spoiler warning. If you haven't watched the movie yet and you don't want anything ruined for you, make sure you guys hit pause right now and save this video or save this podcast, however you're watching us. Come back to us later, and here we go. It's spoiler time. Spoilers.
That is just the happiest spoiler music I've just ever heard.
How could could you possibly turn this podcast off?
I know.
you
It's
can't.
or the
After hearing
video
that.
or whatever else. You can't.
You like, that was just happy spoiler music. They still dancing, getting the movie spoiled for them. It's awesome.
Look, not really much for me to spoil, but you know, they win the race. They do a bike raid and they win the race. That's how I'm going to spoil it for them.
You know what the funny thing is? I wish you could spoil, but you can't. Is like, how does the kid go from being a sea monster or whatever to just being a normal person when they get out of the
It's
water?
the transformation.
I was hoping that was like the
It's the
mystique.
transformation.
They say there's a change that occurs when you get a water. Now, granted, I understand what you're saying.
It's the transformation.
For whatever reason, and
I hear you. That's inclusive.
look,
feel that?
I'd love to go to the motherland one day. I haven't been to Italy yet. Been to France, been to Europe. It was close. We were going to go to Italy.
Saw my underpants.
Yes. Well, just about everyone's seen your underpants, Cat. I mean, it's
This
not
is
really-
true.
I see you love the pants.
Hey, I'll send it to you in a mailing.
There you go.
Right. Hey,
It's in Amazon. Check out the Amazon store.
let's
You can
set up
find his
that
underpants.
Patreon account now.
At the $100 level, you will get my underpants.
without the holes.
Yeah, worn, unworn, your preference.
There it is.
You specify.
Ooh, golden.
Anything to make money. But sorry, go ahead.
I forgot what I was saying. What were we talking
So,
about?
so the transformation, like, I didn't understand how.
Oh, okay. So clearly in Italy, I haven't been there, but clearly in Italy, it seems as though water dries faster there than any other place on the planet, unless it's inconvenient
Because
towards
it's hot. It's hot as hell out there.
Because like
They got no trees.
you would watch them swimming, and then they would jump out of the water and immediately turn into a human, jump back into water, and immediately turn back into a sea monster. But if they were on a boat, they needed a blanket to become human again, which is a little like Deus Ex Machina. Like, hey, you know what this power is? It works when we feel like it needs to work, and it doesn't work so well as when we feel like it shouldn't work as well as it needs to.
Well, that was my main thing, is that I think it started off nice. I mean, I'm not going through the whole entire movie, but I really, if I'm going to give it a plus, I liked how it started, where it was like, dark, and there's a fisherman and they don't know there's a mysterious creature bouncing around taking all his stuff, like
The land monsters, holy carp.
oh yeah, like we're gonna, what's going on, and it's a mythos and it's real, and like I liked that, and then once they kind of let us kind of see how everything worked, I was like, all right, this is kind of cool. It's got this little Finding Nemo vibe to it, but not so much. But I can kind of get that. But yeah, once the kid went out the water, I was kind of like, oh, okay, Alberto's gonna be like, yeah, this is why, because nobody told him, so that's what I thought the relationship was gonna be based on, which would have made total sense. But then it just became this like weird commercial almost for Vespa, and that's where I started to get kind of lost. So I wish it would have explained how he could do that, because that's the main power of these cats.
Is the Vespa?
Well, who shouldn't have a
kidding.
Vespa? I'm too big to ride a Vespa, but how they can turn from human to fish.
Oh, and it kind of like a Mystique manner. Did you
Yeah,
notice
like
that?
even if I would take
It looked like
magic
Mystique
water
from the X-Men, yeah.
Yeah, I would have took like a seawater, salt water, and so once we had too much salt, we got to spit it out. And then we human. Like I would have taken anything, but there was nothing.
I know, Santa Gorgonzola, man. It was terrible.
Yeah, Gorgon cheese.
I did. That's the second time you brought that up, and I'm glad you caught that as well. Is that I did like the fact that whenever that girl would swear, it was Santa and some
kind
form
of cheese. Yes.
Santa Ricotta, Santa Gorgonzola,
Santa Mozzarella. And Holy Carp was funny to me. They said Holy Carp. I was like, oh, that's clever.
I didn't catch that one.
I caught that when I wrote it down. I was like, Holy Carp. I think
oh my
I forget
God.
who says that, but I thought it was
It was a very Robin from 60s Batman kind of thing going on there. But
Man.
Oh, there'll be more. Don't worry.
oh, I'm sure.
I'm going to throw some more.
Okay.
Please do. But yeah, no, I would go along with what Eli's saying there. Yeah, the Vespa as the kind of the stakes of the movie to me it's a little weak. I mean, because at the end of the day that it's a movie. This is a kid dealing with some real stuff, talking about Luca, talking about Alberto. Surely at the end of the day, the Vespa is not going to be their salvation. So you kind of pretty much already know at the end of the movie, they're not going to be riding off on the sunset on a Vespa. That's not going to happen. But where they do something right is that, so whereas you don't care about the stakes of it because they build up the Vespa so much, that to me is where I like the Urkel character, because even though you're not really invested so much, the only reason let me rephrase that. The only reason you're invested in this race is to make sure that somebody beats Urkeley. You don't care who it is. You don't care if it's Luca, Alberto, Julia, any of the other kids. Just because that one kid was so contemptible as a bully, you just want to see him get beat.
That's right.
The rest of it, I could have cared less about because I understood that the Vespa, which was painted as their salvation, which was kind of a weak motivation, and that is a legit critique of the movie. But at the same time, I kind of felt as though because they did a effective job of making Urkeley such a jerk that
he was a big jerk.
Oh, he was a funny jerk.
Awesome.
He was a great
he was a great jerk.
He looked like a baby David Swimmer. That's what
with the little mustache where he's like, oh, you look like a little catfish.
Yeah.
I love that line. That was a great line.
I like how he made his one henchman slap the other henchman. Or they were on the boat or something.
Chicho.
Oh, yeah.
He's
Chicho.
like, slap him.
Chicho and Guido.
Yes,
Yeah.
Chicho and Guido.
Like, hit him harder. Hit him with content.
Whenever Pixar does a movie about Italian people, they need Guido in there as much as they can get.
You don't feel offended at all?
Not at all. I don't
Just
take
check.
myself that serious.
I take care. I want to take
Oh,
make sure
man.
you're
Santo
happy.
Parmigiano Reggiano. I forgot to say this.
Right?
Yeah, I forgot
Nicely
to mention
done.
this as some trivia. This is the second Pixar movie without John Ratzenberger in it.
Holy Royale with cheese.
my
How about
God.
that? So it seems like they're retiring that shtick, but this is the second one where he doesn't voice something in there.
What, they can't afford his cameo fee?
Maybe
Did it
not.
go
I
up?
don't know. Yeah.
Oh, man.
That sucks.
That COVID really is messing up stuff for them over
Damn.
there.
Yeah, it's interesting. I
I
don't
hope he's
know what it
okay.
is.
I really do hope he's okay.
Yeah.
That's kind of weird.
That's another thing. I hope John Ratzenberger's okay. That's why it's not a bad reason why he's not doing this.
Yeah,
That's a
that
good
does
point.
worry me a bit.
It's interesting. But I didn't know if y'all noticed it. But yeah, I researched it. I'm like, yeah, this is the second movie in which they haven't had Ratzenberger in it.
No, I saw, I went and looked up the cast on IMDb, and I saw his picture, but there was nothing underneath it. So I was like, almost
They were
like
expecting it from IMDb, but it didn't happen.
Didn't
Wow.
happen.
No,
I know.
he's right. There was no obvious point in the movie where Ratzenberger, like, now if somebody came to me and was like, no, he was in there and he voiced so-and-so, I'd have to go back and watch it. But there was no, usually it's pretty obvious.
It's usually toward the end. And
It's
I
like the
didn't see
pizza.
that.
It's like the pizza planet truck. Usually, it's pretty obvious. All right, so here's what I would give as a positive.
Okay, we jumping back foot.
Yeah, but let's go back and forth.
back and forth,
I
yeah.
hate the idea of just an all negative, all
I'm
positive.
with you.
I love the idea that you're dealing with three kids: Alberto, Luca, and then Julia. The girl they end up meeting,
Julia.
and that each one of these kids are coming from different parental situations. So you have Luca, which is kind of like his helicopter parents hovering over everything he does, overprotective as hell. You've got Alberto, who has no parents.
Damn, yeah.
And he's been abandoned by everyone, but, well, at least his dad. I mean, you never find out what happened to his mom, but he has no parents and no guidance. And then you have Julia, whose parents are separated or divorced or whatever the deal is that's happening there.
They're not together in the same house.
Exactly. So you get three different kids with three entirely different parental situations. So I did enjoy that. The fact that they all came from a different perspective.
I felt bad for Alberto because he never got that resolved, and I didn't really feel for him until the latter end of the movie. Like, really, that's when it all picks up for me as far as loving all of the characters and whatnot. But yeah, I really wish his situation would have got some. Even if he'd have been like, "Here's a letter from my dad. He's nothing but a filet-o-fish right now," and
But then Julia's dad kind of became his dad, his surrogate dad, and they were kind of bonding over. Like, you could tell that was really kind of
that was the linchpin of the movie.
Yes, where Julia's dad was kind of like, and I keep forgetting his name. It was like Messino, or I can't remember what it was.
Missimo.
Looks like the dude from La Luna.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
That dude's a beast.
Yes, except
We'll get to that.
missing an arm.
We'll get to that because I have something.
Oh, about the dad?
Yeah, because it's always interesting to me. But go ahead.
very, very
But yeah.
interesting. What I liked about the Alberto-Luca relationship is that Alberto needed Luca, Luca needed Alberto. Like, Luca needed Alberto to get him to overcome his fears and silence his...
Enjoy the world,
Right.
open up his horizons, kind of thing.
That's
yeah.
exactly it. And Alberto conversely needed Luca as somebody who loved him and wasn't going to leave.
He needed his innocence.
Some kind of stability.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. There's a little bit of stability.
Consistent stability.
I would say his innocence. I wouldn't say Luca's innocence is what helped Alberto, because then Alberto could say whatever stuff he wanted
Oh, yeah,
to.
because he was the good kid.
Yeah, and so he could kind of be seen in a completely different light than what he was.
Now, at the same time, and I don't mean to jump forward if y'all have more
No,
things to
we
say
just-
about that,
no,
but I
okay.
mean, I do also feel that's also a weakness of the movie, is because at some point you got to sit there and question to yourself, is Luca into Vespas and astronomy? Because been sheltered his entire life and not been allowed to grow, and that underwater world just looks so boring.
He's a fish herder.
Mundane, and just that's a major negative in and of itself. But is it possible that maybe Luca's not all that into astronomy? He's not all into Vespas. He's just never experienced anything. And so when he sees anything, he's like, oh, what's
Something
that?
new, yeah.
Yeah, that's something awesome. So like Alberto loves Vespas, so Luca loves Vespas. And he has several daydreams. That's another thing. This is like an hour and 30-something minute movie. And like there's at least 4 to 5 daydreams in the movie.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or they're just daydreaming. There's a lot of backstory and mythos, as Eli put it before, that doesn't really get explored. But you kind of go into that realm of trying to figure out who these people are. And that's one thing I don't feel like you get. I think Luca is just like anything and everything that comes along that someone introduces him to is like, that's great. Because all I did was shepherd goatfish or whatever the hell they were.
Yeah, that was
Dude,
weird.
you know, Santo Mascarpone, man. Look, this is probably they did this again with the bug-eyed, goofy sidekick animal. You know, because they had Hey Hey and Moana with the big bug eyes, and now they have the fish. Well, I forgot the name of the fish that kept on wandering off. Enrico or
Start
something.
with a B, I thought.
There was a few of them.
Yeah, a few. Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, I thought that was interesting that they chose for that kind of thing. That's what they're going to use for their bumbling sidekick animal thing that they're herding. I mean, it's clearly an animal. I mean, Hey Hey was a chicken, and the fish were some kind of animals, non-sentient things that he was herding.
Just like,
but somehow they can, they can understand. They didn't really talk, but they could understand his English. So I thought that was I don't know. I thought that was kind of funny that they stuck to that formula. It's like we need plushies to sell, so let's do this.
Yeah, listen. Yeah, I mean, it's not. I wanted to kind of go back to what you said in the sense that the dreamy sequences when he was talking about being on Saturn and all that other stuff.
Saturn.
Like yeah, like and he put it in the water, it'd be like a big old thing of clouds, and I was like, I think that was a chance for whoever did the movie say, hey, look what we can do. Because, it was a party with looking at glowing fish and stuff. Like, for the record, I watched this movie really late. And it got to a point where, I was like...
Did it scare you?
It was tripping me out. Because it was the last thing I paused it. And I was like, I'm not going to be able to finish it. I watched this in the morning. So the last thing I had was right before they did the race. But him, seeing all of the fish and the planets and all this stuff. So that's when I went to sleep, thinking about it. So I woke up. I was like, I don't care how that movie is, but wow, what a dream I had.
You felt that.
Yeah. So I think that part, that scene, the animation and whatnot, was almost like somebody just let me just let loose. And so that part, I
need to stretch.
Yeah.
I need to let it go.
Let my creativity out.
I haven't been able to do it. I've been cooped up in this house.
All I could do is do bricks and then other places where they nobody really had a house in this place. The kids slept on wood outside.
Well, Santo Ricota, man, they didn't even have shoes.
They had nothing there. Everybody's broke. That's why they were mad, because they were all poor.
I know.
The best race you can have is over noodles. And a beat up Vespa, that was a lot. There was a lot at stake. There was a lot at stake here.
Okay, to your point there, I do feel like they missed a major opportunity because there should have been a little bit more backstory, or as you put it, mythos, to add to these characters, to explain a lot of the incomplete, unexplained things about the movie that it would have been a little bit more helpful, because they drop you into this movie, boom, you're right in real time. But they keep referencing the fact that humans are scared of sea monsters and sea monsters are scared of humans. They give you no backstory behind it. They give you no explanation behind it. I mean, even Julia's dad is missing an arm. This dude is dead set against sea monsters.
Well, he did say that he was born like that.
He did,
yeah.
But he first says a sea monster ate it.
Oh, yeah.
And you're like, okay, that gives some explanation why this dude has a bulletin board with nothing but material on sea monster. But then he's like, yeah, no, I was born like that. So why does this town hate sea monsters? Is every sea monster...
Because they're scared of the unknown.
They had 2 old ladies that had been living there for however long that was sea monsters.
But they didn't know that.
Right, but I mean, all these sea monsters seem average size. It's not like you have a kraken,
Exactly.
or a Loch Ness monster, or a sea serpent of some size that is threatening the town.
That would have been awesome.
You get none of the backstory to explain why the town hates. For that matter, like one of the things I was waiting on was the whole Silencio Bruno thing.
Silencio Bruno.
Yeah, it's like that was a big thing. Like, hey, look, if you ever have any doubts, just say Silencio Bruno. And I'm expecting at some point in time he's going to say, my dad's name was Bruno. And then every single time my mom was like, I wanted to do something, she'd be like, Silencio Bruno. Like, she would shut my dad up, and finally he left. Whatever it was, there had to be something that none of that made. Like, I don't know who Bruno is to this day.
Good point. Great point. Because that's a clincher of this movie. Totally is.
It's a big time motto that they live by, and you never find out where it came from.
And they do all the craziest stuff that would get a normal kid killed if they did that. Talk about Silencio Bruno.
And look, what's funny about what you brought up, the Kraken thing?
I
did
like
some research.
Yeah, that would have been awesome.
I did some research on this, and Santa Asiago, man, look.
Asiago chicken.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah,
I was looking at a different alternate version of the story that was originally there, and Alberta was supposed to turn into a Kraken, apparently.
Okay, now we've been talking about something.
Luca was supposed to protect him against the villagers that wanted to get him. That was like, I think, an original story that got tabled, and they changed it towards this. But it's funny that you brought up Kraken, because like, oh yeah, that's interesting.
See, that would have made a lot more sense, because like in that intro, he's like all dark and mysterious. Alberto is where
it's crazy. Yeah.
Oh, that'd have been awesome.
All right, guys, Santa Fontina, man. Look, there's something about this that struck me as interesting. Given like everything that's going on in the world and stuff like that, the political climate. I noticed that you have the strong wife-mother character with the bumbling idiota husband, and also you have this separated husband character who's big and strong, and he's very manly because he's separated. I don't know if that's anything significant. I just happen to notice that they're like, man, the couple, the husband is really, it's like a bumbling kind of an idiot kind of a thing, character. And I don't know how to interpret that or what that's like, but it's kind of funny to me. I don't know about that.
I can see that.
Did that catch anything with you guys?
I mean, being the husband, yeah, the wife was the strong one, she was the smarter one, and then the dad that was by himself,
wasn't listening to her, and then he had his ideas didn't really work, and he was just doing things on instinct.
He's just a goof.
It wasn't feeling. Yeah, he was just a goof.
And then your girls there, what's the girl that curses in cheese?
Oh, Julia?
Yeah, Julia.
Julia.
So Julia's dad. The real story is he lost his arm in a divorce. So, I totally get that.
That's why he's big and strong.
That's why he's big and strong. He got to work on his own. Ain't nobody help. He got to cook. He got to clean. He's mean. He even kept the cat. Even the cat was mean. The cat had a mustache.
Oh, Giuseppe? I'm Machiavelli. Sorry. Machiavelli.
Yeah.
Cat was
I think the cat was made to look after the dad.
Yeah.
Yes. They were supposed to resemble one another.
I like the cat. The cat was funny.
The cat was cool, yeah. Especially when the cat realized they were fish. It was like,
but yes, to your point, I saw that kind of same thing. That's all we've had to talk like that.
Yeah, that's the thing. We've had that recording, and I thought I noticed that they used that again. That kind of formula. It's
a standard formula. It's been around for the dawn of time. The omnipotent mother and the dumb schlub of a father who's just lucky to have her. I mean, it's the staple of a lot of sitcoms. But I would say they were both kind of dumb in this one. Even the mom, who obviously comes across as the more caring.
Mom had Munchausen syndrome, I think.
Sure.
Oh, that's interesting, yeah.
That's what I said. She was more of the helicopter parent. No matter what he did, she had to hover over him and really kind of messed him up in that sense. In the sense of, you're going to hurt yourself, so don't do anything. Obviously, as a parent, your job is to protect your child, but they can be overprotective in the sense that you never want to see him get hurt. And obviously, how do you learn? It's the old Batman thing. Why do we fall? So we learn to pick ourselves up again. I do think that the parents, though, were dumb in this one. There's a point there.
Do you think they were equally dumb, though?
No, I don't think they were equally dumb, but I thought the mother had the dumbest idea.
Wait, what was the dumbest idea?
Well, the mother at some point in time figures out, if I hit the soccer ball hard enough, I can, knock this kid into the water. And hey, I got it. If I get all these kids wet, I could figure out who my son is.
Yeah, I don't know what my son
At the same time, it's aren't you there because you're worried that you might out your son as being a sea monster.
Oh, that's
and
right.
your solution is to dump water on every kid that you run across, which therein would out him as a sea monster. Even the people who apparently routinely and leisurely make their way over every week, even regular sea monsters who are like, hey, we're just here for summer vacay.
Like grandma makes it every week.
Grandma was funny.
She plays cards on the weekends.
Right, who just would come in the land and like, hey, we're just here for the weekend. We're just chilling. We'll go back to, herding goat, sheep, fish, things, or whatever they
were, yeah.
Yes, we'll do that another time. So I thought that was it was funny at first, like, oh, yeah, the mom just realized that all she has to do is knock kids into the water, and she can figure out who's her son, until you think about it for 2 seconds, and you're like, well, if she knocks a kid into water and he turns into a sea monster, you've got a situation on your hands.
Well, I thought you were going to say the dumb idea was when she realized the first time she didn't know when the son came back, when Luca came back, and she was like, I know you were somewhere, blah, blah, blah. And she was like, I'm just going to send you to the deepest, darkest part of the ocean with your uncle over here whose heart stops at any point in time. And you can't see it because there's no light there. The only thing there is whale carcass,
It just floats in your mouth. You can't
it
help
floats
it.
in your mouth. Just get that. Like, who don't want that? It's like a free meal. I thought that was like crazy. I thought the dad at that point, I thought they would have been, and I thought that's where you were going, Dad.
No.
When the dad was like, would have been like, hey, no, you don't want to send your... it's not like military school. This is like the bottom of the ocean. You're not going to see him again. Like, whatever he did, we got to talk to him about whatever it is. And again, there's another part right there to explain, we're sea monsters. If we go out here, we turn human, but blah, 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 blah. Like, boom, perfect thing right there. Even if the husband has to take the bumbling parent role as opposed to the strong mother, that's whatever. But at least give him that. That chance to explain that before you send your son out to the abyss. They just don't like males in these movies. I
don't think it has anything to do with the male-female aspect of it. I think it more had to do with, like,
what?
Go ahead. No, go ahead. No, I'm sorry. You got a theory on this?
No, I'm just saying, like, if this was like Moana, they would be like, hey, listen, Moana, just don't do that again. You got to marry this boy or whatever. This kid, they're going to send him to the part where there's no light in the ocean. You can't even herd fish down there.
Keep him away from the surface is what you're saying?
Yeah, but I mean, that's a harsh punishment.
But
that's
how's that any different than Moana's daddy trying to keep her on the island when the island was dying?
Or keep her from going past away or whatever. The reef? Was it the reef?
I don't know.
Beyond the reef?
I don't know. You get sun?
I mean, granted, Moana's father was a stronger father type rather than this guy's father.
Okay, but you're talking about degrees of parental abuse. I mean, that I think was one of the major weaknesses of this movie. And again, we've kind of touched on it a couple times, but if we really need to hammer it home,
the parents,
not just the parents, it's Life Under the Sea was made to look so boring. I mean, you can totally understand why it is that these sea monsters are going to the surface and pretending to be humans, because it literally looks as if there's nothing to live for except for crab show.
Oh, that's right, man. Santo Formaggio, freaking Sebastian lied to us. Santo Formaggio.
But if you watch Little Mermaid, there's a whole world under sea, and living under the sea looks great.
Animals singing to you.
Fish don't have bug eyes and they're not idiots.
He on the wrong side of the ocean then.
But if you watch Luca, living under the water looks so mundane. It looks so unhappy. I mean, it's just, it's ridiculous. So, I mean, like at the end, like there's this part at the end of the movie where you kind of feel bad that, Luca's leaving his parents, and as a parent and having a child, you know how that's going to feel and that's going to suck.
The very, very end?
But the very end.
Okay.
But at that point, you're like, kind of like, well, I feel bad for the parents, but literally there is nothing keeping him in the ocean. There is nothing positive about the world of being a sea monster that they showed you that would keep any sea monster in the ocean.
Yeah, especially if they can transform into humans. I mean,
Right.
why not? I mean, your boy Alberto, I mean, geez, Santo Pecorino, man, he says life is better above the sea.
Yeah, Santo.
He enjoys it.
Right, unless you're into the all-you-can-eat whale carcass buffet
Which should not
that
look
comes
good.
with living under the sea.
Yes.
They present nothing but show crabs, like
Show crabs.
and dolphin imitation shows.
Yeah, I dated a girl with show crabs. It is not fun. I tell you,
Oh,
yeah,
man.
get a razor and shave that.
Yeah.
That would get rid of the show crab.
go on the water.
Yes.
Oh, damn.
Damn whale carcass. Go ahead, sir.
Jeez.
That's no. I'm just saying, like they did nothing to present. Like you're almost begging for, like Luca's got to get away from his parents because there's no life under the sea for him.
So life is not better down where it's wetter.
Right.
Is what you're saying.
Well, not
what he's
the way
saying.
they presented it.
That's right.
But that's the thing is that why? All right, this was the only thing I didn't understand to just kind of connect what you're saying as well. It's not fun for the parents either. Like I don't know what the dad did for a job. He just kind of showed up, and the mom didn't really do much but keep up with the old lady. But all of them could go topside. They all knew what the secret was now. Why couldn't they go with Luca? And just they say, okay, we got our summer house under the water.
because they were deathly afraid of humans, and they never explained why. And that was a huge fault of the movie. Why are they so deathly afraid? Now,
That's fair. But you wouldn't send your son or daughter off on a train to go somewhere more random, right?
No,
and you
no,
could
no.
go with them.
well, but you get a scene. Okay, so just to bring it back. All right.
Yeah.
There's this scene where Luca shows up in Portia de Rossi, or whatever the hell the name of the town is.
Ponta Rosa.
Porta Rosa.
Porta
I thought it
Rosa.
was Portia de Rossi. My bad.
Oh, that's Ellen's wife.
No, whatever.
Isn't
Okay.
that from the Atlanta Housewives?
Wherever.
Oh, Santo Stracchino. You brought that up.
I'm sorry.
God, Lord.
Fettuccine.
Holy carp.
I apologize.
There's a scene in there where you see all these humans killing sea monsters.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. He looks around and sees the pictures and he freaks out.
So you can understand to an extent why sea monsters might be a little intimidated about humans. What you kind of innately understand, though, is that, okay, humans are going to erect edifices to things that meant something. Like, okay, we're going to
symbolize
show you
something,
this
yeah.
symbolizes our overcoming the.
They're symbol-minded.
What you never get is why are humans so afraid of sea monsters if they're all just little and tiny and not going to capsize a boat on them unless it's like a little canoe. They're not going to capsize a schooner or whatever the hell it is. I mean, where are all the big time sea monsters that these people are really afraid of by looking at the different sculptures, fountains, whatever in and around Portia de Rossi?
Yeah, it should be like a tourist attraction almost the way they sell it. Like you said, the girl's like, do you even know why you're here? Once she figured out they were sea monsters, she was like, you know where you are? Like,
You in the jungle, baby.
yeah, baby, we hunt sea monsters here, baby. Like, no, nothing terrifying to say, look where we are.
Yeah. Look. Santo Tomás, man. Check this out.
Santa Tamale?
Yeah, that's
what happened?
That's a cheese. Tomás is a cheese.
Oh, I thought
Santo Tomás.
we were talking about tamales.
Oh, we could go there. Santo Tamale.
I like a tamale.
Santa Tamale. Anyway,
Okay.
look.
Yeah.
So that's the funny thing part. It's like they go fishing in their herds and they capture all that fish. They're not angry about that. I mean, Luca herds fish for his living, I guess, so to speak, or for his family. And Julia's dad goes and captures these fish. So, I don't know if he captured his herd, but they're capturing somebody's herd.
I remember thinking the exact same thing, Kevin, and being like, well, so if his job is to keep the fish safe, how do they get any money out of keeping fish safe?
Exactly.
Like, what is the point of keeping fish safe in this boring ass aquatic community of nothingness? Like, what is the point of their living? And it was so poorly done. Now, again,
Exactly right. Santo Tomino, man. It's a crazy.
Well, the world
Yes.
building is what crumbles. Like,
Topo
Kinda like
Gigio.
Jesus, just like Prado Gigio. Ay.
there you go. I'm
Just
going.
like that.
That's right. They got something against
I
Italians.
like a good crumbly cheese, but not in this case.
Topo Gigio, man. I mean,
Yeah. Yeah, cheddar cheese. Yeah.
Damn, it's so sexy when he says it.
I
huh?
do. I'm in it now.
So look at that. Look
Lord.
at that Italian smile.
One more time.
He's
He
got
did
the
it.
facial hair too.
It sounds so much right when he says
Yeah,
it.
it's so sexy.
One
Yeah,
more
yeah,
time.
yeah,
Say it again.
yeah.
no, if it's in
that man's good.
if I was connected, I would have to shave this. Just
You need the
I don't know if
mustache.
you've ever seen Donnie Brasco, but you got to
You got to cut that out. Yeah,
you gotta do that.
yeah, keep
Yeah.
it clean if you're a main guy.
That's why I grow it, so people know I'm not connected.
Here's my question.
Go ahead.
You have a question.
It's gonna jump. It's gonna jump.
You're gonna jump.
So okay, now this is where I started to kind of get into the movie towards the end. Like, what did you think about that turn? Like, I think that's when the movie happened for me when...
On the bike turn?
No, when Alberto, he turns into the sea monster, and then, like, Luca's like, oh, my God, it's a sea monster. Like, he, like, rats on his boy, like, freaking turns on
that part? Oh.
I didn't mind that.
No.
You minded that?
I kind of did.
Because he sold him out?
Yeah, I can't...
You watch it and you're like, oh, Santo Stracchino, man. It's like terrible.
Exactly. I was like, Santo melted cheese. This is terrible. I cannot believe I just witnessed this.
Queso melted.
Yeah, queso melted.
Okay, thank you.
Damn right. Thank you. I'm trying to learn.
quesadilla.
Santo Tamale, Santo Quesadilla.
I'm just working on it, you know. Santo Mansion.
So you felt cheated? Say again?
I didn't say cheated. It was just like...
It was cold.
That's the thing.
That was a
like,
cold move on his part.
That's where the movie...
Well,
like,
but
that's what I got emotionally...
Yeah,
I was saying, like, that's where I got emotionally invested, but it was kind of unexpected. Because once the kid turned and then Luca just like ratted on him and was like, oh, it's a sea monster, almost got his boy killed. Then I was like,
well, it's kind of emotional too because they were just fighting before that.
Yeah.
Before Julia came in and, you know, he's still running on that emotion. He's like, oh, I'm out this MF.
You just say to answer your fish theory too. He don't like being a sea monster. Like at that point, that's what I was like, bam.
Doesn't it go back to what I was saying before? It was like all of a sudden Alberto shows him a Vespa and that becomes his biggest obsession
focus,
towards life. And then Julia shows him astronomy in school, and all of a sudden that
and
becomes his
femaleness.
Yeah, and her feminine charms.
That's right.
For sure.
Yeah, that hair was wild.
So that becomes his next biggest
fascination.
There you go. So doesn't it make sense that there again, like at some point in time, isn't that what you were seeing where Alberto would look at him kind of cross-eyed like, wait a minute, you're kind of breaking away from us and becoming a thing with her? And that, to me, was the culmination of it. So I didn't have a problem with that aspect of it.
No, I'm not saying it's a negative. I apologize. If you think I'm saying it's a negative, it was just like this. Like, that's the first time I had a real emotional reaction to what I was watching.
Okay.
I can see that what Danny's saying about Alberto probably being upset about his ersatz homosexual relationship.
Well, no, because we have experience.
Definite undertone.
This man has experience with this, where like people have been like, "Hey, you
Alberto or Danny?
Just Danny.
Oh, okay.
Danny knows when love is hard. Love is hard. Somebody try to break your friendship up and stuff for the sake of love, so that he what we talking about. The point is that Luca has a weakness, and it's not just because he's half man that he's flaky. That's just literally part of his. That's part of his thing.
It's cannoli.
Yeah, it's not his fault that he's scaly cannoli. He's just a flaky kid. He
left the cannoli and took the gun.
Yeah, he left. I mean, yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
He just went for whoever was the coolest, and so
never take the cannoli and leave the gun.
Oh,
never.
So he's like a social butterfly.
Get the mattress. Yeah, but
he's in for the hot next thing.
But that's what. Yes, and I think that's what I got emotionally invested in the kid was now, because then it was like it became a redemption story at that point. So this is almost like a negative positive. You know what I mean? Like I hated the kid for what he did as friend, but then the positive was now I was rooting for him because I knew he was going to make up. I thought it was kind of weak how he did it, but
he was the bigger man and sent him off to school, and then somehow he got a figurative dad, which was kind of cool. I thought,
which is what he needed.
Yeah, which is exactly what he got a knife too. If you saw the credits,
yeah, he got a knife. But I think the thing was that was a good. It was a positive redemption thing for Luca, for the character, for the movie, was once he did the rat out thing, and then he had the second chance during the race, and he saw that, Alberto was like, hey, look, I'm going to bring you an umbrella to make sure you can finish the race, and then, like, he tripped, and then he got wet, and he turned into a monster, and then Luca was like, screw it. And my boy, he had heart right there, and then he said, all right, I'm a sea monster, too. So at that point, I'm not going to lie, I didn't cry, but I was like, bam, thank you for giving me some emotion for this movie to show the bond of this man helping out his boy after he almost got his boy killed. Like, that's street rules.
I know you did, yeah.
That's street rules.
That is gangster.
Right. You almost get your boy killed. You don't come back and make your boy apple pie say, hey, I'm sorry. You got to go out there and
Whoa, time out. To be fair, he didn't almost get his boy killed on purpose.
But you know what's going to happen?
No. Wait, no. He was with the girl, and she's like, sea monster. He's like, oh my God, a sea monster. He didn't realize that your boy,
it Ercole.
No, not Enrico Palazzo.
No.
Ricola.
Ercole.
He didn't realize he was right over there and would hear that and then try and harpoon him to death. He thought he was just trying to make an impression with Julia.
Oh, Julia. Okay.
So
yeah.
it's a little.
That's fair, but that's a great point. But but you're still on land, you know.
Was he saving his own butt though?
Yes.
That's
what made him.
Clearly, in that moment,
Yes.
He was just saving his own butt. Okay.
but not at the expense of what he felt might have been his friend's life. He was saving his own butt, and in the eyes of Julia, I think maybe if he knew his friend's life was on the line, that might have been a bit.
He had no situational awareness. I'll give you that. But
that's
still,
what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, no. But at the same time, he's still on land. Like that would be like if I don't know. Like
He was on land. Dude was in the sea.
Dude's in the
He
sea.
didn't- Whoa. Time out. He did not choose for the guy to go in the sea. Dude went on the sea and decided to reveal who he is all on his own. He didn't turn to Luca and say, hey, look, you got a problem if I show this girl who I am? Because seeing that this is our collective secret. Alberto outed himself on his own. So you can understand Luca having some sense of indecision in that moment.
Oh, I can see that. Yeah. And you know the best
totally.
part about this? Look, Santo Toma.
what you say about somebody, Bob?
Santa Toma. It's a cheese. It's,
Oh,
it's a lovely cheese. Yeah, there's a bunch of
Tomado?
tomas. There's toma agaria, toma basilera.
I have learned it so
anyway,
much.
look.
Yeah.
The best part is that Julia ended up being very accepting and understanding to the point to where she's like, why are you here? Why are you risking your life to be on land? You should be back in the sea. Get out of here. You can't race with me. I love that part of it. If there's a positive, I love that Julia, she wasn't even fazed by the fact that there were sea monsters. She was more concerned at the fact that her dad was a freaking sea monster hunter and her new friends need to get the hell out of Dodge to protect themselves. I thought that was adorable. I thought that was really awesome.
That changed the game of the whole movie for me, like right there.
And I think that helped with Luca revealing himself in the rain to save his boy's life.
Oh, he couldn't have did it twice. Like if he had punked out twice, I don't know if I could have finished this review. I'd have been like,
You would have been mad at Luca?
I'd be like, this is the worst friend Pixar character ever.
Be like, Santo Tomino, you are sucking.
You are a terrible
You are
friend.
terrible.
What?
Screw your Vespa.
Fine, you did a moment of indecision one time, but then your friend tried to help you again to win the race, and then you let him almost die in the whole city again.
Was that do it once, shame on me? Do it twice, shame on you?
Yeah, that's
Oh,
just...
no, do it once, shame
it's
on
like-
you. Do it twice, shame on me.
At that point, I was yelling at the TV, Alberto, go find your dad. He's more reliable than Luca if Luca did that to him.
You're like, Santa Limburger.
Yeah,
How's
there
this
you
happen?
go. Ha. That's it. Salt on the pizza. That's just wrong.
Well, look, again, we're really getting deep into this movie.
No, that's all I really...
Well, let's bring it back to the surface
That's it.
waters,
Yeah.
to the land.
Absolutely.
And let's
Yeah.
wrap it up to
Let's turn
where
back to
this was
humans.
great. Let's turn back to humans. We delved into it.
We should. Because at the end of the day, this was something like we're getting deep into it because that's what we do as adults. I think younger children are going to
They
love
don't capture that. They're going to love it. And my kids did once.
Right. I don't think this is going to stay with them. I don't think it's going to be a world that they did their best to really develop something new it's going to make them revisit. I do believe they did a good job of taking Portia de Rossi and making it look like a place I would love to visit.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I'd love to visit that too.
Talk to Ellen.
I watched some of the background stuff on how Pixar researched this, and they actually visited villages in Italy to get that same scene.
Oh, you can
Yeah.
tell, like the...
I want to see how they did it. And
That village kind of came to life.
God,
Yeah.
could you imagine having that job and as a creative and being able to let's travel and research this so that we can get it right. You
Oh, no,
know,
that would
to
be
have
awesome.
the funding to be able to do that as a creative, I mean, holy crap.
And then you get to send the job to someone else and, all right, draw all the bricks. And that's your job. Go
I
ahead.
mean,
draw all
think
the
about it.
bricks.
As podcasters, and we're podcasters, guys, look, subscribe to us wherever you listen to podcasts because we do a full show there too. Think of it as creatives. If somebody gave us the budget to say, hey, we're going to review Galaxy's Edge, let's fly down there for the weekend, get fully immersed in it, and then record the show. I mean, that's just incredible.
We go to Disney every weekend if we had enough money, podcast-wise, to go ahead and do that. And we would tell you the top 12 places to grab a macadamia nut cookie.
According to us.
According to us.
Which is a very special thing.
Yeah.
But, yeah, no.
But it ain't our problem. So
we don't live in Florida. We don't live in California. We're not in the parks every single day.
What you want.
But we are Disney fans. We do pay attention, and we do care.
Yes.
Guys, look, make sure you let us know what you thought about this movie, and we're about to tell you how to do that in just a little bit. Well, guys, if you want to learn more about us, the Magic Our Way podcast, magicourway.com is the way to go. There you'll find our social media links, past episodes, and more. Also, you can get in touch with us through the following ways to share your opinions on Luca and anything else. You can shoot us an email at show@magicourway.com, or you can call or send us a text message. Yes, I did say text message at 1-815-MOHICAN. That is
1-815-MOHICAN
669-4226. And of course, we have a couple guys to do things outside of the podcast. First of all, Lee's not here, but I just want to make sure I pimp his wares. He's with Magical Moments Vacations, which is a platinum earmarked Disney travel agency. So, if Disney appreciates them, so will you. Make sure you book with Lee today by shooting him an email at lee@magicourway.com. Again, that is lee@magicourway.com. A portion of every booking that Lee makes goes to support the Magic Our Way podcast, as well as a charity he likes to support, which is Girl Power to Cure, which is a nonprofit organization dedicated to raising awareness and funds for treatments and a cure for Rett syndrome. So you're helping two good things, our podcast and that charity, Girl Power to Cure. How can you go wrong with booking with Lee of Magical Moments Vacations?
That's right. And that's a better closing for Lee, Kevin, because normally he does not tell the listeners that. He just comes up with some silly thing to say about...
whatever number he forgets. Yes.
Stupid number he can't... Yes.
Absolutely.
With no Hasselvika.
Hey, ha-cha-cha. And that voice you heard is our comic guru, and he's going to pimp his wares right now.
Hey, Rob Liefeld here. Deadpool, Cable, X-Force, Domino, Marvel Comics, Image Comics, all of it. You guys, what is up? Eli Ivory. What a great name. Eli Ivory, comic guru. I'm here to talk about you. I am here to say, check out ivorycomics.com. That's right, you. Check out ivorycomics.com. ivorycomics.com. If you're not doing that, you're missing out. You're missing out. The Savages comic cannot be beat, cannot be surpassed. You need to check it out, experience it for yourself, and you know the story. It's all about the glory. Congrats to you and all the magic that you're making with your Ivory Comics, Eli Ivory, comic book guru. Check out ivorycomics.com, comic book guru, Eli Ivory, the whole package. Deadpool said to. Do it. ivorycomics.com right now. Liefeld out.
Man, thanks, Rob. Boy, every time I hear your voice, it puts a smile on my face. Or then it puts a bigger smile on my face is knowing that there's a link to this podcast, so you'll never miss an episode. That's right. You get the interviews from Ivory Comics, you get all the good stuff from Ivory Comics, but when you get a link to the Magic Our Way podcast, you still get the jokes, you still get the knowledge, you still get to be the voice from the voiceless and the void that you don't know about, but you find out about that later. It's all connected. Synergy is a beautiful thing. On top of that, Facebook.com/Eli Ivory. You can find me there. As long as you're a real person, happy to know you. But if you're a bot, I don't know who you are. Get the hell out. Otherwise, you can go to Project Geisha, got our Facebook page there, so facebook.com/Project Geisha. You can also check me out on Instagram, posting the hearts and likes and all that good stuff and shares, because I always do that for the podcast as well, which is on Instagram. So EIV504, you can find me there. And of course, on Twitter, can be found at Hancock10166. So if you appreciate the madness, you're just bringing me the gladness. Thank you very much.
And guys, there are so many ways to support the show as a whole, and you can find them all on our website, magicourway.com. Any way in which you can support the show is deeply appreciated. Also, we want to take a second thank you for being a loyal listener to our show, and we always love hearing from our listeners. All opinions are always welcome on the Magic Our Way podcast, so make sure you get in touch with us today. So, Mohicans, we say Quaharini. My name is Kevin.
And I'm Danny.
Grazie per l'ascolto. Magia fiore.
I have every intention of eating those bananas for breakfast, but I still somehow end up with tacos.
Santo mozzarella! In addition to my 12 pairs of shoes, I also pack Mad Hatter Radio
Yes.
in my suitcase.
Those are your emergency Mad Hatter Radio.